Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. If you are an ARMY, hit that like button right now, subscribe to this channel, share this video, and drop a comment below, because what we are about to talk about is something every single fan of Park Jimin needs to see. This is not clickbait. This is not a rumor. Every single thing in this video is real, verified, and happening right now in 2026. So stay with me until the very end, because the part that left the entire world speechless? That comes later. And trust me, you do not want to miss it. Picture this. It is April 9, 2026. Goyang Stadium, South Korea. 40,000 people are standing in the middle of what the BBC described as torrential rain. The weather forecast for that day said 100% chance of heavy rain. Not 70%. Not 80%. 100%. And yet, every single seat was filled. Some fans had arrived as early as 6:30 in the morning. Others flew in from Mexico, Portugal, Brazil, Russia, and China just to be there. 500,000 more people tuned into a 3-hour live stream of the outside of the stadium before the show even started. The area around Goyang was completely colored purple, fans in purple umbrellas and raincoats lining up in the downpour, buzzing with an energy that no amount of rain could wash away. This was not just any concert. This was the opening night of the BTS World Tour Arirang, the first full stadium world tour BTS had done in nearly 4 years. Their last major group performance was the Permission to Dance on Stage tour, which ended in April 2022. Then came the military. All 7 members enlisted one by one. Jimin and Jungkook were the last to complete their service, discharged together on June 11, 2025. By June 21, all 7 members were free. BTS was back. In March 2026, they released their 5th full-length album Arirang, which debuted straight at #1 on the Billboard 200 and produced a Hot 100 #1 hit with their lead single, Swim. The world tour was announced, 85 shows, 34 cities, 6 continents, running all the way through March 2027. The largest stadium tour ever by a South Korean act in history. And it all began on that rainy Thursday night in Goyang. When BTS stepped onto that 360-degree stage, a stunning structure inspired by Gyeonghoru, the iconic banquet hall of Gyeongbokgung Palace, and the opening track, Hooligan, from the Arirang album hit those 40,000 soaking wet people simultaneously, something remarkable happened. Nobody left. Not a single person walked out. The rain did not stop. The pyrotechnics fired through the downpour. The lasers cut through the mist. And BTS performed every song on their set list, all 23 of them, for 2.5 hours straight, without stopping, without shortening the show, without using the rain as an excuse to cut a single moment short. Now, let's talk specifically about Jimin. Because while every member showed up that night, what Park Jimin did from the moment he arrived to the moment he left is what the internet has not been able to stop talking about. Before the concert even began, a fan posted a video of herself dancing to Idol in the rain outside the stadium. Jimin found it. And he commented, just 2 words, "It's going to be cold." The fan replied that they would be fine and begged him to complete the show safely. Fans who saw the exchange flooded social media, writing things like, "My Jimin is an angel," and, "Please Jimin, you take care of yourself first." Hours before the biggest concert of his comeback, fully aware of the monsoon waiting for him, his first thought was whether ARMY would be cold standing in the rain. Then he walked on that stage. And he performed. Jimin's long blonde hair, which had already turned heads at the Gwangwamun comeback performance in Seoul in March, became something completely otherworldly as it was soaked through by the rain. Fans immediately gave him the nickname, Northern Grand Duke, describing the visual of his wet hair against black leather styling as something out of a fantasy film. His vocal tone and expressive power shifted from song to song, from delicate emotional lows to explosive high notes, delivering a live performance that fans said felt even more powerful than the studio recordings. His body control through choreography that spares nothing was described by reporters on the ground as unshakable. At one point during the show, Jimin and Taeyong briefly broke into the original choreography of I Need You together, sending the 95-liner fandom into complete meltdown. In a quieter moment between songs, cameras caught Jimin gently helping V dry his soaked hair, while his own clothes were completely drenched from head to toe. And then came the moment that silenced everyone. During the men's segment, Jimin addressed the crowd directly. He told them he was frustrated and stressed about the rain. And then, still dripping, still standing in the downpour, he said, "But that's not what's important. What's important is that you're here with us." He told the crowd that 4 years without seeing ARMY was tough, and that being back was an honor. He said he was soaked down to his underwear. And then he smiled. The stadium, 40,000 people standing in a rainstorm, exploded. The encore ended with all 7 BTS members standing together in the downpour, completely soaked, singing Microcosmos into a stadium that had waited years for this exact moment. Within 21 hours of the concert ending, 2.5 million posts had poured onto X, from Brazil, Spain, the United States, China, Japan, and everywhere in between. The hashtags that trended worldwide included hashtag Jimin_thank_for_the_great_stage, hashtag thank_you_Jimin, and hashtag Jimin_stage_commander. But here is what truly left ARMY speechless, and this is the part most people outside the fandom have not heard about yet. Jimin came back. Day 2, April 11th, the weather was perfect. Sunny skies, cool air, and Jimin on a stage with nothing to fight except his own standards. He opened with Fake Love, his blonde hair flying freely in the wind, and performed with a freedom and scale that fans described as like watching someone finally exhale after holding their breath for 4 years. At the end of that show, he told the crowd, "I missed you a lot for a long time, and thank you for waiting. I will continue to repay you with good performances and music. Thank you for being with me so far, and I will always be with you in the future. I love you." One night after performing through a monsoon, he came back and was somehow even better. And then he came back again. Day 3, April 12th, the final night of the Goyang run. On that last night, Jimin ran out in front of the fans in an improvised moment to perform the run choreography, and beautifully recreated his legendary dust dance, a moment fans consider one of the most iconic of his career. At the end of the final show, standing before 44,000 people for the last time in Goyang, he said, "I will do my best to become a better person after learning and studying hard. And then, thank you so much and I love you so much." 3 nights. 3 completely different versions of Jimin. One soaking wet and refusing to leave. One free and overflowing. And one promising ARMY, for the 100th time, that he would keep getting better. For them. At the close of the 3-night run, BTS delivered a message together. Although we are showing you many changes under the name BTS 2.0, the most important thing has not changed. It is the fact that the 7 of us decided to do this work together, and our sincerity toward you. 132,000 people attended across the 3 nights. Audiences from 194 countries and regions joined via online streaming on Weverse. And if you think that is everything Jimin has been up to in 2026, there is one more story you need to hear, and it is a little different in tone. On March 24th, Jimin appeared as a guest on comedian Lee Soo-ji's YouTube channel, Hot Issue G, playing the role of a ballroom dance instructor. What started as a calm tutorial quickly spiraled into complete chaos when Lee Soo-ji suddenly lifted Jimin into a princess carry, entirely unscripted, catching him off guard. Jimin, being Jimin, went along with it. But when he tried to return the gesture, the size difference was so significant that everyone on set immediately intervened, shouting, "Don't do it, you'll hurt your back." The lesson devolved into Lee Soo-ji repeatedly losing her balance and falling into Jimin's arms, turning the entire segment into a running joke that had millions of viewers crying with laughter. The very next day, March 25th, Jimin posted a photo of himself standing on a scale, showing his weight at 59.7 kilograms. He had mentioned during BTS's March comeback livestream that he had lost around 9 to 10 kilograms while preparing for the arirang era. He reassured fans with additional photos of himself running and working out alongside V, showing he was staying healthy and active. The internet spent approximately 48 hours being unable to decide whether to laugh about the Princess Carrie, worry about the weight, or simply accept that Park Jimin will always contain more than any one description can hold. This is the full picture of Jimin in April 2026. A man who performs 2.5 hours in a monsoon and calls it an honor. Who comments on a fan's Instagram to warn them about the cold before his biggest concert in years. Who dries his bandmates' hair between songs while his own clothes are soaked through. Who stands in a downpour before 40,000 people and says, "What's important is that you're here." Who comes back the next night and the night after that, each time giving more than the time before. Who spends his days off getting Princess carried on a comedy show and posting scale photos next to workout selfies. He is unfiltered. He is dedicated. And in 2026, he is without question at the absolute peak of his career. The Arirang World Tour has only just begun. After Goyang, BTS headed to Tokyo Dome on April 17th and 18th. The North American leg kicks off in Tampa, Florida on April 25th, with 2.4 million people already waiting across North America and Europe alone. The tour runs through 34 cities across 6 continents and does not end until March 2027. 46 shows are already sold out. This is the largest K-pop world tour in history, and Park Jimin, the boy from Busan who was the last member accepted into BTS, who once cried on a stage in Brazil because ARMY sang his part for him when he was too sick to finish, is standing right at the center of all of it. Soaking wet. Still singing. Still saying, "I love you so much." That is why the world went quiet. Not because something went wrong, but because something went so deeply, completely right that there were simply no words left. If this video gave you chills, if it reminded you exactly why you became an ARMY, please hit the like button right now. Share this video with every fan you know. Send it to your group chat, post it on your story, tag the ARMY who needs to see this today. And drop a comment below. I want to know, which moment hit you the hardest? The rain speech? The Princess Carrie chaos? Or Jimin standing on that stage on the final night saying, "I love you so much"? Tell me below. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss content like this. BTS is back. The Arirang era has begun. And we are just getting started. Purple you, ARMY. Always. Purple Heart Annyeong.